Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicole. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Today I kind of wanted to come on here and talk about what I wish I knew before I went to college. And one of those things is I wish in high school they would sit down and have a chat and say how much debt you are actually incurring over time when you go to college, whether it's like a 4-year, a private school, a tech school, or a 2-year college. Whatever program you decide, I wish that somebody would had a conversation and be like, this is what you owe at the end of these 4 years. And I think like people talk about it, but they don't realize how actually expensive it is and how much your monthly payment is going to be once you graduate. And having a monthly payment on student loans can be really hindering on like opportunities that you want to do once you graduate. And having those student loans can be a barrier in some aspects because it is another added monthly bill. Another thing I wish people would do is really sit down and think about what they want their future to look like, whether it's like a 9 to 5. Do you want to work in customer service? Do you want to work in healthcare? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a police officer? And really think about, are those things that I need to get a degree for? If those things are not a degree that you need to get for and you can start applying to places and degree is not required, I would suggest not going to college. If you are looking for a job that doesn't require a degree, it is a really, really big investment. And if you don't need to take that additional loans out, personal loans, I wouldn't do it if it's not required. Another thing I wish people told me was if you wanted to go to a tech school and go to a trade school, I would say yes. If you can find something that you are good at and you enjoy in a trade, I would highly recommend that. Even for women, if it's like lashes, if it's a makeup artist, it's a photographer, if it is a skill that you can pick up like laminating brows, if it's a tattoo artist, anything that is not like a corporate desk job and you know that's not going to work for you, I would highly suggest like avoiding the 4-year college if you know that is something that you don't want to do, working a corporate in a 9 to 5. I would say that there are so many jobs out there that you can get certified. If it's like being a bartender, you could go to bartending school. And I wish some people would say like, here is an esthetician school, and would have sat down with me and be like, you don't have to go to a 4-year traditional structured school. And being able to find a job, like for example, like I want to be a makeup artist, and now my regret is that I didn't go to cosmetology school, because now that I finished my 4-year degree, I don't want to go back to school and go to cosmetology school. That's something I wish I did right when I got out of the high school, and I wish I had gone to cosmetology school to become a makeup artist, so that would have been my career, rather than going to a 4-year school when I didn't know what I wanted to do, and now I'm stuck job searching in a major that I don't know if I'm going to like or not. But I know that I like makeup, and I wish somebody would have sat down and been like, this is a career path that could work if you get licensed to, and being able to apply to places in like salons and stuff like that. Or if it was a certification that I could have gotten instead of just being pressured into going to a 4-year. Another thing I want to mention is that it is not the end of the world if you have to change your major. I changed my major. I started going into my major thinking I wanted to do HR. I changed my mind because I didn't want to take certain classes that I needed for that degree to be in that college, so I switched to the more creative college. And it was not the end of the world. I ended up liking my classes and my major so much better. So if you have a gut feeling about not loving your major, I would say make the switch, and it's not going to be the end of the world. You can get your credits transferred over. Some of them might not work, some of them might double dip in your new major. It just depends on the coursework and how big of a switch you're going in your major, but I would say it's better to take that risk, and rather than regret it later and not doing it and being like me. And if you wanted to become a teacher, it's better off to just switch your major, get the teaching degree if you had gone to school for 3 years for psychology, because you're not going to want to go back and go to school later for a teaching degree. I think you're better off just switching then, and in that moment than having to go back to school later on to be a teacher. Your interests change over time, and it is best to follow your gut decision and gut intuition rather than pushing it off as far as you can just because you don't want to do it. Another thing I wish I knew before I went to college is that you don't have to minor in anything if you don't want to. People have minors for an additional boost, an additional cherry on top, but you don't have to minor in anything if you don't want to. I was going to minor in graphic design. I dropped my minor. I didn't graduate with a minor, and it was probably the best decision I ever made because I didn't have to stay an extra semester. Colleges will pressure you into minoring, but you are always welcome to feel free to say no, because they do that because they want you to stay an extra semester if you don't meet your credits at the end of the for your major requirements. So you can meet your major requirements, but they'll say like, oh, you're only a few credits away. That could extend you being there for a whole extra semester and having to pay for a whole extra semester just for a minor. So I would really think if like a minor is something that you really want to do, I would consider it. But if it's something that you're undecided about, just know that you don't have to minor in something if you don't want to. Another thing I wish I knew is that it is okay to break the social norm. And if you don't know what you want to do, it is okay to go back to school when you do know what you want to do if it is required for what you want to do. So if there is a degree that you are wanting in a job for later on in life, that is okay. And if you don't know, it's okay to take a gap year. It's okay to go into the workforce right away and not be pressured into going to school right away. I know that a lot of 4 years is stereotypical for people to go to school right after high school, but there are so many people in my major that were older and they decided to go back to school later on, and I think that is a smart way to go about it because these people entered the workforce, they had a lot of time, they had a lot of things to look at in their life to see if they wanted a degree and do that career switch rather than being forced into it right after high school, not knowing what you wanted to do, and then you're stuck with a 4-year loan when you have no idea what you want to do and you don't know if your career is going to be able to pay it off. The other way of looking at it is going into the workforce, thinking about what you want to do. If that career requires a degree, then going back and getting that degree. And like I said before, I wish people had told me how big of an investment it is to go to college when there are other options, and really figuring out what works for you and what is best for you is something that you need to lean in and hone in on in your own intuition, if that is something that is going to be worth it in the end. College is able to open the doors for opportunities, but it is not the end all be all. And if you are thinking about doing something else in a different career that doesn't require a degree, it is possible that you shouldn't go to college. If you want to work somewhere and you can move up in that company without having a degree, you will be okay with not going to college, even if it is what everybody else is doing at that time. It's okay to break that social norm. And the last thing I wish I knew before I went to college that I found out like later on in my last semester was that you can start paying on your loans while you are in school and that they don't have to start when you stop. And I wish somebody had told me that sooner so that I could have started paying my loans off when I was in college because I was financially able to do so. And I regret not being able to do that because the interest just builds up. And those are my thoughts on what I wish I knew before I went to college. And it is really a big thing to think about, and not a lot of things people really think about when they're in their senior year of high school. And it is a really big decision to make, and I wish schools would let you know these things, or people around you in your life, and I hope I can be that person around you that is willing to let you know if it is going to be worth it or not. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!